You know that feeling when a conversation ends and your mind keeps going? You replay the exact tone of your voice, the pause before you answered, the look on their face that might have meant something. You tell yourself it doesn't matter, and yet your thoughts circle back, like they're trying to solve a puzzle no one else even noticed. Most people never see this part. On the outside, you seem thoughtful, careful, maybe even calm. But inside, there's a constant evaluation happening. A quiet analysis of what just happened, what could have happened, and what might happen next. And if you've lived like this for a while, you've probably heard it before. You think too much. Just let it go. You're overcomplicating it. It's usually said casually, sometimes jokingly, sometimes with frustration. But over time, those words start to land somewhere deeper. They start to sound like a verdict, like there's something slightly wrong with the way your mind works. But what if this isn't a flaw? What if it's a pattern? When people talk about overthinking, they usually describe it as a bad habit, a mental glitch, something you just need to control better. But there's more going on here than people realize. Overthinking isn't just thinking too much, it's your brain trying to predict, prevent, and protect. When the brain perceives uncertainty, it activates systems involved in threat detection and future simulation. In simple terms, your mind starts scanning for potential problems before they happen. It runs simulations, it rewinds and fast-forwards through possibilities. For some people, that system is quieter. For others, it's highly sensitive. If you overthink everything, it doesn't necessarily mean you're weak or dramatic. It can mean your nervous system learned early on that staying one step ahead was important. Maybe you grew up in an environment where moods shifted quickly, where you had to read between the lines, where noticing subtle changes helped you avoid conflict, disappointment, or rejection. The human nervous system is adaptive. It doesn't ask whether a strategy is exhausting. It asks whether it works. And overthinking often works. It helps you anticipate problems. It helps you plan carefully. It makes you detail-oriented, perceptive, sensitive to nuance. You probably notice things others miss, shifts in tone, inconsistencies, small emotional cues. That isn't accidental. It's pattern recognition. Psychologists sometimes describe this as heightened cognitive vigilance, not in a dramatic way, just a brain that learned to stay alert. When people say, just stop thinking about it, they're asking your nervous system to turn off a system that once kept you safe. That's not something the brain does easily. Here's the part that's rarely explained. Overthinking isn't only about fear, it's often about care. You replay conversations because relationships matter to you. You analyze decisions because outcomes matter to you. You imagine worst-case scenarios because you want to avoid hurting others or being hurt yourself. Your mind is trying to create certainty in a world that doesn't offer much of it. Of course, there's a cost. When the brain keeps simulating future scenarios, the body doesn't always know the difference between imagination and reality. Stress hormones can rise as if the threat is happening right now. Muscles tighten, sleep gets lighter. The mind feels busy even when the room is quiet. You can end up exhausted from situations that haven't even happened. But exhaustion doesn't mean you're broken. It means the system is working overtime. Being someone who overthinks is not better or worse than being someone who moves on quickly. Different nervous systems are wired differently. There isn't a right way to have a mind. The problem begins when you judge your own wiring, when overthinking turns into, why am I like this? Or, what's wrong with me? The mind starts fighting itself. The same mind that creates spirals is often deeply insightful, but insight without boundaries becomes rumination. Reflection turns into replay. Care turns into control. You're not defective for having a brain that wants clarity. Your experience makes sense in the context of your life. And if this felt familiar, there's more beneath it, more to understand about the way your mind has been quietly protecting you all along. If this resonated with you, you're not alone in it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to understand yourself a little deeper. We talk about the things people feel but rarely say out loud.